clangs of the long and dark Amazonian night. The jungle is also filled with the hum and clatter of millions and millions of nocturnal creatures, creatures that live in the phantomless canyons of the tall tree trunks and in the shrouds of black vines. The waters of the Amazon are filled with complex and dangerous freshwater fish. The waters are also crowded with creatures of nearly every size and shape, every evolutionary adaptation imaginable, from tiny neon tetras to 1,000-pound manatees, to pink freshwater boto dolphins, from stingrays to armor-plated catfishes and bull sharks. The Amazonian fish, for example, the tambaqui, have evolved teeth that look like sheep molars and are hard enough to crack open the cannonball-sized shell of a Brazil nut. There's even an ancient eel-like lungfish that has lungs as well as gills. This unique species must surface every 4 to 10 minutes for a gulp of air, or it will drown. During the dry season, many fish die in the Amazon River, but this ancient evolutionary throwback, this lungfish, manages to survive by burrowing into the Amazonian mud and taking its oxygen only from the air. The four-eyed fish, for example, which has eyes that are divided in two at the waterline by a band of tissue. It has two separate sets of corneas and retinas. The four-eyed fish, scans for predators in the sky, while at the same time looking for danger in the waters below. The fish in the Amazon feature strange adaptations that are geared toward self-defense. Other adaptations help these fish become better, faster, and smarter predators. For example, electric fishes that eat nothing but the tails of other electric fish. These tails then regenerate, ensuring a limitless food supply. The 3-foot-long arowana fish, nicknamed the water monkey, has a huge mouth and a bony tongue. The arowana leaps up to 6 feet into the air, snatching large insects, reptiles, and even small birds from the lower branches of an overhanging tree. The 15-foot-long black caiman fish always lays near the nest of rotting debris. Its massive jaws can drag animals and even, small human beings into the water, then lets the body of its victim marinate in the river for several days before feasting on its flesh. Let's get to the piranha, which are attracted by blood and swim in groups of hundreds or thousands. There are 20 different species in the Amazon, and these piranha are usually happy to scavenge or attack something their own size or even smaller. But their muscular jaws and saw-like teeth, which have tiny razor-sharp spear points, can quickly devour just about any living creature. Caught in the throes of an astonishing bloodlust, the piranha can gobble up anything from a water bird to a monkey to even an ox, or, as I mentioned, a human being. Virtually nothing is left but the skeleton in just a matter of moments. The Amazonian rainforest also is home to a unique tiny species of catfish called the candiru, a sharp-spined fish that is it's the only other animal besides the vampire bat that feeds solely on blood. This fish, the candiru, is only about an inch long, and it swims into the gill chambers of much larger fish. then gorges itself on its blood, then swims back out of the gill chamber, burrows into the riverbed, and digests its blood meal. Now, for human beings, for people, the tiny Candiru catfish can be a potentially lethal menace, entering its human host via an orifice like the vagina, the butthole, or the penis. The Candiru then wiggles its way into the urethra and slips inside, sinking its spines into the soft tissue, then, of course, gorging itself on blood. The tiny fish then cannot find its way out of the urethra. Its stiff spines prevent it from going in any direction but forward. So it goes further up into the host's body. The Candiru fish then soon dies, but its body blocks the urethra, causing excruciating pain. And if the tiny fish is not removed, it will ultimately cause death for the human host. The human host's body begins to swell up since the person cannot urinate and is unable to excrete his liquid waste. The person dies in about a week to 10 days since the person can't urinate if the tiny and dead catfish is not surgically removed. Now, of all the amazing creatures in the Amazonian rainforest, none are more deadly to human beings than snakes. Venomous snakes are difficult to see in the jungle. They vanish into a mat of branches and leaves and often hide beneath fallen trees. The most infamous of these Amazonian snakes are the pit viper and ringed coral. The viper is a more lethal relative of the North American rattlesnake and copperhead. Pit vipers have long horizontal fangs that snap into place like switchblades when they are ready to strike. Within seconds, the victim begins to sweat, he begins to vomit, and his body swells up. Death coming from renal failure or intracranial bleeding. The body of the unfortunate victim becomes a corpse, virtually piece by piece, and the chill of death quickly invades all of the unfortunate person's being. Bloody threads fall from his or her mouth and eyes, and their gums bleed, and he or she weeps tears of blood. What feels like fire germinates in the wound, in the snake bite wound, and the snake's bite enlarges to monstrosity and resembles elephantitis. The coral snake may not be as aggressive as the pit viper. It has much shorter fangs, for example, but its venom can be just as potent and just as painful. The coral snake attacks the victim's nervous system, central nervous system, causing excruciating and irreversible paralysis. The respiratory system collapses, and the victim dies a most unpleasant death, acutely aware that he is slowly suffocating. With that thought, we're going to take another musical break. When we return, we will continue to examine the rich diversity of animal and insect life housed within the Amazonian rainforest. But first, some more music. This is Al Wilson with a great tune from the mid-'70s called The Snake. Stay with us. This is God Rock Radio.